Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in your life when you have to stop tiptoeing through life and decide to stand up, speak out, and take charge of your destiny. This is that time. If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. If you've been waiting for perfect timing, this is it. If you've been waiting for motivation to strike like lightning, I am that strike. Let me talk to that part of you that's been lying dormant. That part of you that knows you were made for something greater. That whispers to you late at night, there's more than this. But somewhere along the way, you stopped listening. You let doubt talk you out of your dreams. You let fear sit in the driver's seat. You let the opinions of people who don't even know your purpose dictate how you live your life. Let me tell you something right now. You were not born to just pay bills and die. You were born to climb mountains. You were born to shift atmospheres. You were born to leave your fingerprint on this world in a way that nobody else can. Because hear me clearly, nobody can be you like you can. You've got dreams sitting on your heart that were assigned to you, visions with your name on them, and you've been playing it safe, hiding, shrinking, dimming your light so other people feel comfortable in your presence. But not anymore. Because if this doesn't motivate you, nothing will. You've got to decide that this is your moment. You've got to decide that you're done watching everybody else win while you keep making excuses. Oh, I don't have the money. So neither did 1,000 other people who got started with nothing. Oh, I don't have the time. You have time. You're just spending it on things that don't move your life forward. Oh, I'm not ready. Newsflash, nobody ever feels ready. Greatness doesn't come when you're ready. It comes when you're committed. You've got to want it bad enough that you're willing to sacrifice for it. Because the truth is, your dreams will cost you comfort, sleep, temporary pleasure, but they will give you everything in return. You've got to stop talking yourself out of your potential. Stop putting your goals on the back burner. Stop settling for average when you were never meant to be mediocre. Say this out loud right now. I will no longer shrink to fit in places I've outgrown. Because listen to me, you don't need a new year. You need a new mindset. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a relentless commitment. You don't need everybody to believe in you. Just one person, you. And don't you dare let your past become a prison. I don't care what mistakes you've made. I don't care how many times you've failed. You're not done. You're not broken. You're not damaged goods. You're in development. You're under construction. But baby, when this version of you is done, the world won't know what hit it. But you've got to show up for you. Stop ghosting your goals. Stop canceling on your calling. Your destiny is calling collect. Are you going to keep letting it go to voicemail? Some of you think you're stuck. You're not stuck. You're just scared. And fear is a liar. Fear tells you you're not good enough. Fear says don't try. Fear says play it safe. But faith says leap and build your wings on the way down. Faith says you've got this. Faith says if you fall 7 times, you get up 8. So you've got a decision to make right now. Will you let fear run your life or will you rise? Because if this doesn't motivate you, nothing will. If being alive doesn't motivate you, if the chance to rewrite your story doesn't move you, if the chance to make your children proud, to build a legacy, to say I did it when nobody thought you could, if that doesn't fire you up, you're sleepwalking. But today is the day you wake up. You take your power back. You dust off that vision board. You cancel you get up and go again. You walk into the next chapter of your life like you own it because you do. You are not born to live on the sidelines. You are born to run your race. So what if you're scared? Go scared. So what if you don't have it all figured out? Start. So what if you fall? Fall forward, because regret weighs tons, but discipline weighs ounces. And if you don't fight for your dream, I promise you, you'll end up building someone else's. So let today be your turning point. Let today be the funeral of your excuses and the birth of your next level. Because if this doesn't motivate you, if knowing that you still have breath in your lungs, a mind that works, a purpose still burning inside of you, doesn't light a fire in your soul, then nothing will. But if it does, if something inside you just stood up, then get ready, because your next level is waiting, and this time won't stop until you get there. Too many people are walking through life like prisoners of memories they can't change. They drag the weight of regret, shame, and failure like chains around their ankles. And the worst part, most of that weight isn't even theirs anymore. It's from a version of themselves that doesn't exist. They keep punishing their present for the mistakes of their past. But the truth is, your past only defines you if you let it. And people will try to remind you of who you used to be. They'll bring up what you did, how you failed, who you hurt, and how many times you fell short. But the real power is not in changing their minds, it's in changing your direction. You don't need permission to become someone new. You don't need a vote of approval from your history to rewrite your story. Every single morning, when you wake up, you are given a blank. The ink of your past doesn't control the pen in your hand unless you keep writing with it. Some people let their mistakes become their identity. They start saying things like, I've always been this way, or that's just who I am. No, it's not. That's just who you were when you didn't know better. But now you know. Now you've seen too much. You've felt too much. You've hurt too much. And now it's time to grow, time to rise, time to stop being loyal to a broken version of yourself and start becoming the version you were born to be. The scars on your life are real. I know that. But scars aren't proof of failure. They're proof you survived. You endured. You lived through what tried to destroy you. And even though you may not be proud of everything in your past, you have to learn how to honor the lessons without worshiping the pain. You can take wisdom with you without dragging wounds with you. Don't stay emotionally stuck in a chapter you're no longer living in. You are not your worst moment. You are not your biggest mistake. You are not your most painful memory. You are the product of your decision to keep going, to keep believing, to keep showing up, even when the odds were against you. And if you could survive your past, you can build a future that looks nothing like it. But you have to stop giving yesterday the power to ruin today. There's a reason your eyes are on the front of your faith. You're meant to move forward. You're not meant to stare at the rearview mirror your whole life. Reflection is healthy. Dwelling is destructive. So reflect, learn, forgive, release, and move. Because no matter what you've done or what's been done to you, the future doesn't care about your past. It only responds to your actions now. That's the truth. You've still got potential that's untouched. Dreams you haven't dared to chase. Strength you haven't even discovered yet. But you'll never find it until you stop living like your past is your prison. It's not. It's a lesson. And lessons don't lock you up. They level you up. The only thing that gives your past power is your permission. Revoke it. Withdraw it. Take it back. Because where you're going has no room for who you used to be. Your future isn't waiting for your history to approve. It's waiting for you to believe. It whispers to you like a friend, telling you to relax, to slow down, to stay where it's safe. It convinces you that you've done enough, that there's no need to stretch further, that risk isn't worth the reward. But comfort isn't your friend. It's a thief It steals your ambition in small, quiet moments. It doesn't shout. It doesn't attack. It seduces you. It makes average feel acceptable. It makes potential feel optional. And slowly, it erases your hunger to grow. Greatness doesn't live in the familiar. It doesn't show up in the routines that require no courage. It exists just outside your reach, on the edge of discomfort, where you have to stretch, stumble, fail, and rise again. You don't discover your true strength in the places you've already mastered. You find it when your back's against the wall, when you're uncertain, when fear is loud and your faith is tested. That's where greatness starts to rise. Most people never become who they're meant to be, not because they don't have the ability, but because they choose the couch over the climb. They pick ease over excellence. They settle because settling is easier than striving. It's more convenient to complain than to change. It's simpler to maintain than to reinvent. But no one who ever made history did so from a comfortable place. Greatness demands discomfort. It demands sweat, sacrifice, discipline, and the courage to be misunderstood. Comfort tells you to avoid failure, but greatness is built on failure. Every champion, every visionary, every leader worth remembering, they failed more than they succeeded. But they kept pushing, kept risking, kept stepping into the unknown because they knew that playing it safe might protect their ego, but it would never fulfill their purpose. You can't grow while hiding. You can't rise while resting. Somewhere deep inside you, you know there's more. A fire that refuses to be put out. But every time you choose comfort, that fire gets dimmer. You start silencing your own voice, doubting your own vision, delaying your own destiny. You weren't made for that. You were made to stretch, to expand, to evolve into the highest version of yourself. But that version doesn't live in the same house as convenience. Growth hurts. It's supposed to. The moment you feel like quitting, when your muscles burn, when your mind tells you to back down, that's the doorway. That's where most people turn around. But the ones who push through, they don't just reach their goals. They become someone new in the process. Comfort will never give you that. It will only give you the illusion of peace. But the ache of regret. You have gifts you haven't tapped into yet, but you won't find them staying where it's easy. You've got to demand more from yourself than the world does. You've got to raise your standard higher than your surroundings. Don't wait until it's urgent. Don't wait until it hurts worse to stay the same than it does to change. Train your mind to love the challenge. Get addicted to growth. Get obsessed with progress, not perfection. There will always be people who are okay with being average. Don't be one of them. The world is full of comfort seekers. It's desperate for difference makers, and difference makers are forged in discomfort. What you believe about yourself sets the ceiling for what you'll allow yourself to achieve. No matter how talented, skilled, or prepared you are, if deep down you don't believe you're worthy of success, you'll find a way to sabotage it. You'll play small when you should be standing tall. You'll say no to opportunities you were born to say yes to. You'll hold back your voice when the world needs to hear it. Because it's not your ability that determines your destiny, it's your identity. Most people try to fix their habits without ever fixing how they see themselves. But you can't outwork a broken view of who you are. If you see yourself as average, you'll settle. If you see yourself as broken, you'll keep reliving pain. If you see yourself as incapable, you won't even try. Your results are just reflections of your beliefs. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you think you are. So the question is, what are you voting for every day? The truth is, your outer world will always mirror your inner world. People think the problem is external, lack of time, lack of money, lack of resources. But most of the time, it's internal. It's a belief system that was shaped when you were younger. Maybe someone told you you'd never be enough. Maybe you failed once and decided that meant you were a failure. Maybe you've been carrying labels that don't belong to you, but they've shaped how you show up in the world. You have to challenge the story you've been telling yourself. You have to look in the mirror and start speaking to the future version of you, not the past one. Because if you want to rise higher, you have to see yourself higher. You have to train your mind to accept success as your standard, not the exception. You have to break the mental mold you've been living in. Nobody becomes more until they believe they are more. Self-agenda is not arrogance. It's alignment. It's knowing who you are and walking in it even before the results show up. It's declaring your identity before the evidence appears. That's not pretending, it's preparing. The world treats you how you treat yourself. If you see yourself as powerful, you walk differently. You speak differently. You attract differently. And suddenly, doors open that used to stay closed. Not because they weren't there, but because your mindset couldn't recognize it. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your beliefs. You could have the biggest dreams in the world, but if your self-image says you're not good enough, you'll keep playing small. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not just a strategy problem, it's an identity problem. And until you shift how you see you, nothing around you will shift. So many people wait for permission to feel worthy. They wait for validation, applause, a degree, a title, or someone else to tell them they matter. But that's backwards. You don't need to earn worth. You were born with it. You just forgot. Life made you forget. But your self-image isn't set in stone. It can evolve. It must evolve. Because your life will never grow beyond the boundaries of your self-perception. You will only allow into your life what you believe you deserve. Motivation is a spark. It feels good. It's exciting. It makes you want to run, lift, build, start, speak, dream, but it fades. It comes and goes like the wind. Here one moment, gone the next. And when it's gone, if discipline hasn't taken root, you're left with empty promises and unfinished goals. Motivation may get you started, but only discipline keeps you going. Discipline is the grind when nobody's clapping. It's showing up when every part of you wants to quit. It's waking up early, staying late, saying no to comfort, and saying yes to growth. Over and over again. It's not glamorous. It's not flashy. It won't make headlines, but it builds empires in silence. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It's about what you committed to do. Long after the mood to do it is gone. The people you admire, the champions you look up to, the leaders who stand tall, they don't rely on motivation. They're not always inspired. They're not always pumped up, but they're always consistent. That's the secret. Not magic, not hype, just consistency. Just showing up day in and day out with relentless focus. They don't need to feel like it. They've trained themselves to do it anyway. Discipline is a decision you make before the moment of weakness arrives. It's the structure you build so that your emotions don't get to be the boss. Because if you only act when you're motivated, you'll never reach your potential. You'll start and stop, rise and fall, dream and delay. But when discipline is your foundation, you become unstoppable. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't wait for inspiration. You create momentum by action, not by emotion. The truth is, most people know what they need to do. They don't lack knowledge. They lack consistency. They chase motivation like it's the solution, but it's not. It's the excuse. The real solution is to build a life around principles, not feelings. To do what's right, even when it's not easy. To show up because it's who you are, not because you're in the mood. That's what separates the committed from the curious. Discipline is a form of self-respect. It's telling yourself the truth about what you want and then living in alignment with it. It's saying, I will not let short-term pleasure rob me of long-term progress. It's making the hard choices now so your future self can thank you. It's the workouts no one sees, the late nights building the vision, the early mornings sharpening your craft. It's skipping the shortcuts and embracing the process. When you operate from discipline, you start to trust yourself. You no longer break promises to yourself. You don't just set goals. You become the kind of person who achieves them. You become dependable, focused, and mentally tough. And that toughness becomes your advantage. Not talent, not luck, just an unshakable commitment to the process. Motivation may scream loud, but it doesn't stay long. Discipline whispers quietly, but it never leaves. It carries you when excitement dies. It fuels you when everything feels hard. It reminds you of your why when distractions scream for your attention. And it always delivers results. Not instantly, but in every day. You're either investing in your own vision or someone else's. There's no middle ground. You're either climbing your own mountain or helping someone else reach the top of theirs. And while there's nothing wrong with serving, with contributing, with being part of a team, the danger is when you forget that you have your own dream too, your own fire, your own calling, your own purpose that's quietly waiting for you to pay attention. Most people spend the best years of their lives working to build someone else's empire, trading time for a paycheck, sacrificing their own dreams for security, routine, predictability. They silence their creativity in exchange for comfort. They clock in, clock out, and slowly let go of the dreams they once had. But deep down, there's always a whisper, a reminder that they were made for more, that there's something they haven't built yet, something they haven't become yet. The truth is, building your dream is hard. It demands sacrifice, discipline, courage, and patience. It requires you to believe in something nobody else can see. But the pain of building your dream will never be as heavy as the regret of abandoning it. You can spend your life doing what's expected, or you can do what you're called to do. You can live to make someone else's vision a reality, or you can wake up and start creating your own. There's a system in place that profits from your distraction, from your doubt, from your fear. The more you hesitate, the more that system wins. The longer you delay, the more time you give to other people's agendas. But the moment you decide to take control of your own future, everything shifts. You don't need permission to build your dream. You don't need validation. You don't need everyone to understand. You need to get clear on what matters to you and start taking steps, even small ones, toward it every single day. Your dream isn't going to knock on your door and introduce itself. It's waiting for you to act, to take responsibility, to stop blaming circumstances and start building regardless. There are people out there living your dream right now, not because they're more talented, not because they had better luck, but because they started, because they took imperfect action, because they stopped making excuses. The difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't distance. It's decision. A decision to commit. A decision to go all in. A decision to stop helping everyone else build what they want while you neglect what you were born to create. Your dream doesn't require approval. It requires action. You don't have to quit everything tomorrow, but you do have to start treating your dream like it matters. You have to give it time, energy, focus. You have to water it, protect it, fight for it when doubt shows up. Because if you don't, someone else will be glad to use your time, your skills, your effort to build their own. You have something inside you that was never meant to be wasted. A gift, a vision, a voice. But it will die in silence if you keep waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There's only now. You were not born to just exist, to just get by, to just make it through the week. You were born to build something that outlives you, something that matters, something that carries your name, your purpose, your legacy.